build and uplift communities across the UK. Yet black people hold only around 1.5% of senior leadership roles in the UK private sector. In Britain's most powerful leadership positions, just 52 out of 1,099 roles are held by global majority leaders. And, in top corporate leadership roles, women of colour hold less than 1% of positions. Yet black women continue to lead, often giving more to be seen, heard and trusted. We give time, energy, care, courage, community and more, that come at a cost. We're told to be strong, then berated for our strength. Asked to make ourselves smaller, then chastised for not showing up the way people need, expected to be the best, then told we don't live up to expectations, all whilst juggling a range of differing priorities that are often as equally demanding as the next. Though we sacrifice, we love hard. For International Women's Day this year, the Circle Network, a space where black women leaders and black girls can breathe in, learn from one another, and just be, have asked some of our members to share what they give to gain. This is Voices from the Circle.
Hi everyone, as the video said, this is Voices from the Circle. I am Shay Eccleston. I'm founder of Curate Your Genius Academy and Consultancy. I am also the founder of the Circle Network, and on the screen you will see some of our lovely, amazing, powerful members. I'd love to introduce you also to Shekinah. Shekinah, over to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Shekinah and I am a CYG Young Creator and I'm also part of the member. I'm also a member of the Circle Network. I'm going to hand over to Janine.
Thank you, Shekinah. My name is Janine Palm. I'm the founder of JP Equity. JP Equity was started off the back of me being burnt out for employment. So I set it up and basically we are a consultancy company and we also do bespoke activities for youth and community development, but it's mostly around kind of DEI, social inclusion and supporting young people within the workplace in terms of empowerment. I'm now going to pass you on to Charlene.
Hi. My name is Charlene Francis. I had to think about that for a second. I am a teacher at Bidnam International School. My main subject that I teach is religious studies. I am currently racial literacy lead. So I deal with all things to do with racial literacy training for staff, for students. I do all things to do with like cultural days, Black History Month, South Asian History Month, all that good fun stuff. That's what I do, and I love it. I'm going to introduce you to Ingrid.
Hi, I'm Ingrid. I'm a limitless creative. I am recovering off the back of burnout and currently just diving into projects as possible and enjoying life. I'm going to hand you over to my sister Ellen, my actual sister.
Hello, my name is Ellen. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and over the last few years, in fact, my whole life has been a journey, but the last few years in particular have allowed me to delve into creativity, and the healing journey has been amazing, and I have got lots of information and experiences that I once thought were bad things that I realize are good things that I have to share with whoever's willing to listen, because I love to chat. And I'm happy to be here. Oh, and now I'm going to pass you over to Shanaz. Sorry.
Thanks, Ellen. Hi, everyone. I'm Shanaz. I am self-employed. I do a number of things, one of which is to help organisations, individuals, small businesses to demonstrate the impact of their work. I believe that everyone's here to make a contribution in the world, and we don't always share that with one another. I've created my own space where people can talk about the impact of their work, and I'm also a well-being enthusiast, and I think being well is a choice. Well-being is not an end game, it is a journey. So that's a little bit about me. Back to you, Shekinah.
Thank you. And actually, I'm going to jump in just before Shekinah because there's something that I need to say. Every single person who has introduced themselves here today has undersold themselves hugely. Hugely. We did a run through just before this, and even the way we described ourselves, the things we said we did, the things, the people we are change every time we say it. And that is what's so beautiful about the fact that we get to choose. You just said something a minute ago, Shanaz, about the choosing, and the fact that we get to choose what we do. Most of us in this room, and hopefully you, Shekinah, too, are now seeing this model of being able to choose rather than be told and directed and ordered. So I want to say that. And then off the back of that, I would like to say, because we are all strong Black young people and women, there are typically things going on in the background. And so you may hear either children, animals, husbands, family, the fire engine, who knows, stuff goes on and we make it work. So I just want to say that as we launch into 5 questions that we have for the women today. This year, we've got International Women's Day on Sunday, the 8th. Thank you, everybody. On Sunday the 8th, it is International Women's Day. The theme this year is Give to Gain. We've come up with 5 questions that the ladies, when they share, will hopefully give you some inspiration about how we got to where we are, the people that have influenced us on this journey, what we do give to gain, but also what we sacrifice in order to give. So I'm going to pass you over to Shekinah, who's going to be asking us our questions today. Over to you, Shekinah.
Thank you, Shay. So our first question is, as a Black woman, what is something you have had to give, sometimes quietly, in order to show up as the leader you are today? Janine, would you like to try out this question?
Thank you, Shekinah. Okay, something that I have given and done it quietly. So I jotted a few notes down, and one thing that I wrote down was through management over the years, it's hard as a Black woman being a manager, especially when you're working for local authorities. Sometimes you have to dim down your light because there's so many people around you working and who want to shine. Everybody wants that promotion. Everybody wants to be either team leader, manager, head of services. So something I've had to do over the years is created amazing projects, haven't got recognition from it. Someone else has gotten the recognition, and I've really had to learn not to while out and go mad about it and demand recognition and kind of channel my energy in another way. So I'm not going to get recognition for it. That's fine. I'm going to put my energy into my staff members, into my youth workers, into my community development workers, into the young people who will benefit from this project. So I've really had to change my way of thinking in terms of leadership. So there's going to be times along your journey you're just not going to get recognition for something that you've created. And sometimes that can bring in revenue and money, and you won't get a shout out for it. But you have to be the person to kind of hold that and kind of empower other people through that as well, through that journey, that hurt and that pain. It's not, I don't think it's healthy, but within the moment when you're dealing with something, you've got to find practical ways of dealing with it, or your mental health is going to spiral out of control. So that's my contribution to that question. Charlene, do you want to answer that question as well?
I think that was a really hard question because I'm trying to think about, okay, what have I given? And actually, I'm going to flip it and I'm going to say, I think in my leadership journey, I don't know if it's necessarily things that I've given up as a Black woman, but I've had to let things be kind of taken, if that makes sense, in a way that I've had to, and it's not about dimming my light, I've had to realize, okay, what I may want of the role, other people may not want of the role. So for example, I said, so I'm in charge of racial literacy at my school. And I think when I first got the job, I had like, I thought this was going to be like my Moses moment. I was going to part the Red Sea and I was going to, be so radical and make a change and fix all the issues in the school. And I realized actually there's only so much that I can do that the organization wants to do. And I'm not saying that means that we are not making a change. We really are. But there's only so much you can do within the remit that you're in. And I'm learning that my vision may not always be other people's vision, and it's okay to go at the speed of others if I want to then see progress. Does that make sense? In my head, that makes real sense, but I don't know if yeah. I feel like I didn't really answer that well, but yeah.
I feel like you answered it amazingly. I was going to say, let's have one more person if you want to come in, Ingrid, and then
okay. Yeah, I was going to say it makes sense. My take on it is that through my journey into management and into leadership, there were things that were definitely shed, some positive, some negative. I think the positive side was I had to learn to let go of some of my boundaries and be a bit more vulnerable, be a bit more open, and that allowed me to show up a bit more authentically as a leader and to affect more change. One thing that wasn't so great, I had to give up. I don't know. Wellness is a choice. But I found the leadership role, I'm stealing your words, Shanaz, when you say wellness is a choice. But I found the leadership role sort of took, or I gave up bits of my peace, too much of my time, too much of the essence that was me. And as Janine was saying, it has to be a balance, otherwise it does lead to burnout. So yeah, but it's not negative. It allowed me to sort of discover where my boundaries are or where they need to be, what needs to change. Yeah, that's it. I realise I'm babbling, so I'm sure.
No, I'm sorry, Shekinah. I'm jumping in on your role because you said something, Ingrid. You said I had to give up some of my boundaries and actually be a bit more vulnerable, and it sounded like that was okay. Can I just clarify? Was that a good thing or a not good thing?
Okay, so not boundaries, as in like. Yes, it's a good thing, as in I myself personally am a very sort of like private person. I show up, I do the bits, I go. But in order to lead effectively in my team, I had to show me personally. I couldn't just tick the boxes and do what I know. I had to break a little bit of those boundaries and give vulnerability, you know? Does that make sense? So in that sense, that bit wasn't a negative. That was a positive. So yeah, there's pros and cons to what you need to give up to become a leader or to stay in leadership roles.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's good to have a good balance of positive and negatives, I guess. But yeah, thank you all for sharing. Let's move to the next question. So, second question is, despite everything we sometimes have to give, Black women continue to show up, support, and lead. What keeps you showing up? Can we hear from Charlene, please?
Yeah. You guys are really making me think today. What keeps me showing up? Do you know what? I think it changes. I think there's been different seasons in my life where my reason for showing up has been different. I think when I first went into the teaching profession, I was so passionate about working with young people. I loved my subject. I loved my school. And that love and the love for what I did kept me showing up. And as I've kind of gone up the ladder and like become head of department and now a whole school lead, my reason has changed. There was a time when it was all about the grades, and I wanted my students to succeed, and whatever that looked like, whether that was an A or a 9 as it is now, whether that was actually just passing, whether that was coming into my classroom and just enjoying my lesson, whether that was now thinking that they could apply to university. Now as a whole school lead, my reason is different. Now I'm a mum, my reason is different. I think that as a woman, your journey changes depending on the stages that you are in life. Now my reason is, I want to show my daughter that she can do anything, whether it's something big, whether it's something small. I'm going to the gym and I'm lifting weights because I'm like, I want her to know she can be strong. I want her to put on her Spider-Man uniform and, see those muscles. I'm, out here running 10Ks and I'm dying, but I know that she's going to be at the finish line. So she's my reason. I want her to see actually, well, if mummy can do it, then I can do it. And I think, my reason changes. all the time. You can ask me tomorrow, and you know, it might not be my daughter if I can hear her crying, and I might want to, you know, throttle her. But you know, I love her, so tomorrow that might be different. But I think, you know, when you find your reason, like, just be aware that your reason may change, and that's also okay.
So now I feel like you probably have something to say on this.
I really, really wanted to jump in there, Charlene, because you talked about strength and what that means physically, what that means when you're in the position of leadership in the home as a mother. And I've stolen this phrase from somewhere. I don't know where it is, but where it's from. But this idea of women as weather makers. Women as weather makers. We have the ability to change the weather in our home the minute we walk in. You know, that thing that you can do if you start putting some tunes on and dancing around the house when people are screaming or arguing, or it's all a little bit, you know, downbeat. You suddenly do that. The applause has come on. That's hilarious. And you literally have that ability to kind of turn it all around. And I really feel, for me, the thing that enables me to keep showing up now is less about, because I'm self-employed now. So it's not a case of holding, as I did, a middle manager role in an infrastructure organization and all of that. It's not about the role that has been put upon me, but again, the choice to take the lead in the way that I behave. And the word that I've written down on my page is to energetically prepare for everything I do. So what that means is I take the time to serve myself first in order to serve others. And if I'm honoring the self, because I've been blessed with a human experience, right? And I have that responsibility to know what it is that my gifts are that I'm here to share with the world. If I stop serving myself, never mind serving anyone else, I have actually dishonored the service that I've come here to perform. And I don't mean perform as in a theatre, to contribute, right? So what keeps me showing up is that valuing of the self. And I kind of look at myself every day, and partly because menopause gives you brain fog, so you don't actually remember who you were yesterday, what you did last week. So every day I get to be a new me. And when Ingrid introduced herself as limitlessly creative, like literally the universe is making more planets, there are more stars, there is more and more and more and more. And so that is also, the universe is within us, right? So I've mixed a lot of metaphors here, but we can go down any of those rabbit holes further if we have time. But just knowing that we can choose to have an internal weather system that then ripples out to create the environment in the home, that then radiates beyond the home, that then causes the community to do something it hasn't even thought about doing, that then influence society, and so it goes on. And as women, when we take that time, we have limitless positivity to bring to the world. And that's what keeps me showing up, is that I'm just curious about what it is, what button I'm going to press now that's going to have those ripple effects. And it's spine tingling.
Elle, I want to come to you because listening to Shanaz, I know that this is your realm. This is like minds. And so, in fact, everyone in the room, but particularly Elle, what do you have to say?
Can I see the question again?
Yes, you can. I apologize.
What do I have to say? Because my mind's been going non-stop as everyone's talking, like you said, Shanaz, everyone's mentioning it. It's like, in my head, it's like neurons. It's like a spider diagram. We're firing down the nerves, down to the muscles. It's just activating us, activating ideas, activating creativity. So for me personally, the thing that keeps me showing up is I have a personal motto or mantra, where whatever you want to call it, is what I repeat to myself. And it is, giving up is not an option, right? So it doesn't matter what kind of day I'm having. It doesn't matter what things look like, because I know whatever happens, it's well. I'm blessed. Everything is good. There's a plan and a purpose for my life. And I know that through this healing journey, which you are going to hear a lot about over the time, so get used to hearing my hoarse voice, people, yeah? I'm here to be like, how did I say it? I said it to my son, because I do home education, and this is how we likened our lives to being like underground conductors in the railroad, right? We are going to be beacons in the darkness for people who are literally dragging themselves by their bottom lip along the canvas to get through life. They're going to look up and see a light, which is us, to let you know that whatever you're going through, innit, like when you come to this area, you can get through it and it's going to be well. So that's what keeps me going, because when you hug someone and you look in their face, and or they melt into your arms, or they open up and they share something, and you can share something that you've been through, and you can be honest about it because you have been through it and you felt it. It's uplifting to you, even to know that your pain was not for it was for no reason. It wasn't for no reason, rather, it was for a reason. And even if it's to just save that one person, that's what we're here for. So that's what keeps me going.
Thank you.
Do I have to ask someone else?
No,
Okay.
thank you so much.
So, baby.
So let's move on to the next question. When Black women give support, knowledge, or opportunity, what do we gain? I'm gonna. Oh, would you like to share?
Sorry.
You can share.
Just on the bit of a roll. I'm just saying, on the back of what I just said, when you share with someone and you can come up with a plan, like, you know, you get on the phone with someone and you feel distressed when you start off, but you could even be shedding tears and laughing at the same time. Your chest feels tight, your stomach feels queasy, but you still feel hopeful at the end of it. It's a blessing for everyone involved. Do you get what I'm saying? You're both, even if I'm listening to what you're saying, me thinking about not interrupting with my viewpoint and just being there for you will allow us to have that space where it's going to be a healing process and it's going to be a blessing for everyone involved, like I said. So yeah, I think what you can gain is unlimited.
Off the back of what Ellen's saying, I think community is what's the word I'm looking for?
Life.
It's our essence. Like when we come together, magic happens. Iron sharpens iron. We get and we give, our cups are filled and we fill each other. There is something that happens in sitting down, sharing a conversation, sharing a cup of coffee, sharing that interaction, that flow back and forth. It just creates, I don't know, but yeah, I just think there's magic in community.
One of the things that people will or won't know about me is that, and now everybody will, and actually I'm probably on some level using this to make sure people are fully aware. I hate being on the phone. I hate it. I hate being on the phone. I hate it, hate it, hate it. I don't want to talk on the phone. Have I said it enough? Is it clear? So I'm saying that I can't tell you what it is. I do feel like I'm on the spectrum somewhere, and that's not me being hyperbolic. I'm genuinely saying that actually looking back over the years, the things that I thought made me different and not enough, or a little bit too, like, why are you so, anal, and why are you so, actually makes sense that they would be part of is it a genetic thing? Just part of a system that actually people are now giving space for and allowing and that kind of thing. I say to you that because that not wanting to be on the phone thing is a combination of, I think that's just the way I'm wired. And I think for years I pushed through that. And so it made me hate it more. But I also say that because on the other side of that, and let me just put the question back up. On the other side of that, there are people who can call me. Ellen called me this week. She called me for 2.5 minutes flat. The minute I saw Ellen's name on the phone, I picked it up. There are people who, when you it doesn't feel like the thing that you fear, the thing that you hate. And so at the end of that interaction, like you said, Elle, you can just feel through tears, through whatever, you can just feel like there's positivity, there's connection, there's another day to be had. So whilst I'm not really here to answer questions, Shekinah and I are doing a back and forth on the asking of all of you. What you said really came through to me, and I wanted to let people know. I hate being on the phone, stop calling me. Okay, next. And by the way, I just want to say there are many people for whose name will come up. Each of you, and Janine, we don't go on the phone and make phone calls and things like that. But if at some point we do, I have a feeling you're also going to be one of those people who don't drain me because I'm a giver, because I always have been. And I think over the last 10 years, I've drawn a line in how much I give and when I choose to give and what it will take out of me. And so therefore, picking up the phone to you and Tara and Chi Chi, who were also meant to be on the call, it's a no-brainer. It does. I don't get the same feelings inside me to answer the phone to any of you. So I just want to put that out there as well, but also stop calling me. Shekinah seems to be having connection problems. So did anyone else want to answer that particular question? No. Okay, let's move on to...
Could you read out the question again? Sorry, because it disappeared off my screen.
Okay, when Black women give support, knowledge or opportunity, what do we gain?
We gain power in numbers. I think Ingrid said it previously about community, but community is really important, especially for Black women in business, Black women in leadership. We gain power in numbers. The more of us that are having these type of conversations, whether it's online, whether it's at home, whether it's with our children, our daughters, we gain power in numbers. We gain recognition. You are showing up for sisterhood. Sisterhood's extremely important because the more people that are aware and know about what you're doing or what I'm doing or what your sisters are doing, they're not alone in what they're trying to achieve as well. But sometimes I feel isolated when it comes to business. And I feel like, you know what, I should just give up. And then you go online, you go on YouTube and you see someone talking about business, talking about consultancy, talking about loneliness, talking about depression, talking about anxiety. So kind of showing up in numbers, recognition, sisterhood, preserving legacy as well, knowing that you're preserving legacy, whatever that shows up for you or for your community, but showing up and keeping that legacy and preserving it, giving space. You don't like talking on the phone. There'll be someone else that'll be like, oh my gosh, I hate talking on the phone. She doesn't like it either. Just showing up and talking about it. Yeah, that's it.
I'm sorry, I just want to say again that actually that bit that you just said, that kind of, oh, me too, is such a key part of the story. Because actually, whilst I hate talking on the phone, I love hearing your voice. Send me a voice note. Send me a 25-minute voice note, because also on WhatsApp, I can listen to it really quickly. And Shekinah and I, we be sending voice notes. So like, there is that kind of giving space for people, isn't it? And understanding that there is room for every single type of person in the room. Janine, thank you.
As well as giving space, it also gives you permission. When you hear someone can do it, you're like, oh, okay, I can too. It's okay for me if I hear you can. So yeah, it's really important, I think.
It's so important. And I want to just say at this point, Shay, you've given us the opportunity to sit in circle, right? And the point there is that we can witness we can witness one another. We can try out some things that perhaps we wouldn't go and say elsewhere. We can validate some of our experiences, or at least say, when this happened to you, and if it has, how did you deal with that? And I also think there's a lot of I think it was Ellen who said earlier about healing. There's a lot of historical damage that's been done. Of course, we know that. And as women who, you know, additionally add the label of Black or global majority, someone the other day called us gems, so global ethnic majority. Interesting.
Never.
So whatever the label is, then this is an opportunity to correct the historical damage and to understand the stories of migration, of colonial experiences, and so on. So I think, because the question is about Black women supporting, women support women, that's a broader category, but we're actually talking about why it's important for us as Black women to give that opportunity, give that support. So I want to just recognize the space that you've curated for us, so that this conversation can be had, and many more that have happened and that I know will happen in the future.
Thank you so much for that acknowledgement. And actually, I'm not typically great at acknowledging acknowledgement. And I think many of us probably have had to do that thing where we're like, okay, fine, yeah, I did the thing. We all know we're brilliant, right? That's why we start our organizations, or people tap into us and we're exhausted because people keep tapping in, because we do things at a level that some other people around us potentially do not do. But bringing us together as Black women, and when I have to be really clear, and I know it's kind of about the question, but it's not. When I was trying to think about how to pull this together, because it's been an idea for years, but I keep having the same conversations with women generally over the years, and the same things are coming up and things aren't really changing. And then specifically Black women and Black girls, this particular circle network started because over the summer, and Shekinah was one of them, we had 30 or 40 young people, and some of those Black girls in that room said, Shay, we want a place where we can talk about our hair, where we can talk about the simple things, right? Everything doesn't have to be deep. And so I think there is such power in just, you answer it how you want to answer, or you tell us what you want to talk about, or just connecting with people. And one of the things that I've done in my many lives that I've had in terms of my career, I've met amazing people. And that's why even Janine and I hope it's okay for me to share this, Janine and I connected through Trevor, who commissions me to do some work in Edmonton and Enfield. Trevor was on a call with Janine one day and he was like, Shay, are you free? Jump on a WhatsApp call. We jumped on a WhatsApp call. Janine and I connected. We didn't even speak for that long, but we were forever connected. So when the Circle Network came up, I was like, are you interested? And Janine she's just there. She's there and she's like, I like this place. This is what I'll do. She's like saying she'll come to the meetings and so on and so forth. We have no personal connection yet, but it's for all of us. And one more thing, because I don't want to waste all of our time, but one more thing I really want to make sure people know about the network and about belonging. I had two different people ask me what percentage of Black they need to be a part of this network. And for me, I think if I look at my family, if I look at growing up, and because I had length on my hair, people were telling me, you have to have something in you, and all of those things. Those are the experiences we want to be talking about. So it's not about the percentage of Black that's in your blood. It's, are you Black? Did you grow up Black? Do you have a Black experience? Come and be with us because it's safe here. Anyway, question 4. Over to you, Shekinah.
Thank you. That was a really good discussion. I really like that question, actually. Okay, so the next question. Who were the people who saw your potential and spoke that into your life? How did it happen and how did it make you feel? Charlene, I can see your hand. Yeah, go ahead.
I couldn't unmute myself fast enough, so I'm going to embarrass Shay. And I'm going to say, actually, one of the people that has always seen potential with me is Shay. And I would say I know my lane and I stay in my lane. I'm a talker. I speak well. I like public speaking in my classroom. I speak very well to young people, adults not so much. I'm not an academic. You know, I could sit here and I could tell you my story and I could do it very confidently. But if you then told me, okay, well, now write this, I would panic. I'd freak out. I'm dyslexic. I don't think I'm good enough. I'm not naturally academic, which is crazy because I'm a teacher and I teach other people to be academic, but I'm not academic. I can teach you, but I can't do it myself, right? That's me. I do that very well. And there have been many times that Shay's been like, okay, Charlene, I need you to write this for me. And I'm like, because she's asked me, I will do it. And you know, Shay knows I'm a ride or die. Whatever she asks me, I will do it because it's her, whether or not I think I'm capable or not. And there's been so many times she's given me a topic and she's been like, here, can you just write your story? And I'm like, yeah, because you've asked me. And then I sit down at the laptop or I take a pen and paper because I'm old school, or I use a pigeon carrier. And I'm like, okay, well, now I actually have to do the thing that she's asked me to do. And I'll freak out and I'll panic. But every time I've got it done and I've given it to her and I'm like, okay, this is trash, but here. And she is always like, oh my goodness, it's amazing. And she can take my little penny's worth of words and she will turn it into something absolutely spectacular. And every time I'm like, I get it back, I'm like, oh, was that me? Did I actually write something here? And actually, her belief in me has made me come out of my comfort zone and, you know, do my masters. And I'm now doing like my MPQSL and doing like senior leadership training and all of that stuff. Not because I want to be a head teacher, but because I want to be the reason why I don't become a head teacher. Does that make sense? So I don't want to ever get told I can't apply for that job. So I'm now doing extra qualifications because actually I want to make that decision for myself. I want to say, no, I don't want to be head teacher. I don't want you or anyone else to tell me you're not qualified. And actually, I would say that Shay has been one of the people to believe in me, to make me think I can write academically. And I actually can. Just want to say that now. I'm still trash, but you know, we have ChatGPT. But yeah, you know, it's important when your sisterhood like champion you and make you believe, you know, and take your little 2 pennies and turn it into like 10 grand. So love you, babe.
Thank you, baby girl. But can I just also quickly flip it back, because this person is a person who often says my name's in rooms where I'm not there, and will bring me into the school, get the school to put aside money, not the money that I know I'm worth, but that's only because it's her, right? So she will find budget and be like, can you come in and run a program? And I will run that program to the extent of £3,500 for £300 because it's her. And because I know that every single thing she puts into that school is everything. So yes, I'm uncomfortable when you said that, and let no one else say Shay, please. But also, that's the sisterhood thing. It ends up working back and forth, and it's not a fake thing. It's a support. You give me what I need too. And again, that's why this network is so important, because hopefully we all end up giving each other opportunities that otherwise, because we haven't yet come into the room. Let me move this because I want to show you something. Because we haven't yet come into the room, look who we are. So Ingrid, Elle, and Shanaz, and Shekinah, even if you wanted, if there's something that you are trying to be and trying to do, we haven't come in and described who we are, potentially because there's two with so much, and you don't know which one of the so much you want to put down. But that's why this is important, because as you start to connect, you're given opportunities that you might not be given elsewhere, because you are that's your role, and therefore I can't see you as anything else. We don't do that here. Does anyone else want to answer this question?
I do. Can I jump in really quickly? Charlene, when you spoke about the dyslexic thing, I don't know if you saw my 2 hands go up in the air. So the person I'm going to talk about is a lady called Jean Anastasia, and she was one of the first Black female lecturers at Goldsmiths University. I left school with 1 GCSE. I didn't know I was dyslexic until my 20s, until I got into Goldsmiths in my first year, and I struggled and my grades were rubbish. And Goldsmiths, quote unquote, is like an elite, you could say kind of like university. So already I felt displaced. I felt like imposter syndrome already in there. So I just felt awkward. And at the time in first and second year, Jean was my form tutor. So I remember I had a meeting with her and I walked and I said, right, I'm giving it up. I'm not staying there. This is rubbish. I can't do this. And she was like, okay, go and get tested for dyslexia. And I did. And when I got the diagnosis, I came back, I was like, I'm dyslexic. Jean, I'm stupid. And this woman sat me down in the academical setting as a Black female. And she went to me, you ain't leaving. That's not a choice, Janine. For the first time in my life, I just shut up and I looked at her like a child, and I was like, I'm not. She went, no, you're not, and your grades are gonna get better. You've got the answer. You've got the answer you wanted. You've got an answer. Get on with it. And I will never, ever, ever, ever forget that conversation. That will carry me forever. So, yeah. Thank you, Charlene, for sharing that, because I think being a Black female and being neurodiverse, as they like to call it, yeah, it's a label, but now I embrace it and I just have it as a fantastic label, because your brain, the way you think, is just so amazing. It's never one way, it's multiple ways, and I've learned to kind of really use that in my professional life. So yeah, Jean, I'm just so thankful for whoever she is in the universe.
Off the back of your story, there is, I wouldn't say there's like just one person that's been so influential. There's been a few people along the way, but the last person that got me out of my rut was, again, someone that didn't take no for an answer. My friend came to me and she was like, oh, I'm going to a gala and I need you to make this dress. And she shows me a picture and it's an AI image, and I was like, that doesn't exist, I can't do it. And she went, yeah, no, you can. You've got 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, well, if you think so, you know, when somebody else sees your potential and you just go with their belief. And I did. I had to make her the dress. So I rose to the occasion.
And it was banging. It looked good, girl.
Thank you, ma'am. But yeah, it's somebody else seeing your potential, because I was really in a place where I wasn't creating, I wasn't doing anything, because yeah, I'd lost my vision. Somebody else saw that. So yeah, felt good.
Can I speak briefly? Do you have enough time to talk?
Yeah, let's go, Elle, Shanaz, because I know you have something to say. And then actually, Shekinah, I want to come to you because I want to hear your voice on this.
Okay. So I would say, and I did think of you as well, Shay, Paul and Shay. When I was younger, I'd say probably in my late teens, there was a lot of things going on in my life that definitely should not have been going on, and things before that definitely should never have been going on. So I was a little bit emotionally all over the place, but we didn't have the mental health awareness then that we have now, right? So I could fit in anywhere, but never felt like I belonged anywhere. Wasn't sure of what I could do. I just go on with it. I just came with my own style. If there was something there, I made it my own version. Paul always called me ghetto fabulous because he says I was ever so ghetto in every form of the word. But I did it in such a fabulous way, you couldn't even knock the thing, right? And so I got an invitation to be part of Teens Ministries as a counsellor. I said, a counsellor? Who can I counsel when I can't? We became a master of mass. Yes, we did. Who can I counsel when I just felt so all over the place? And Shay was there, and they pushed me without me feeling like I was being pushed. They challenged me and made me do things that I didn't even realise until I'd passed that stage, that I'd actually been going through a developmental process. And because they saw my potential, even when I didn't, they didn't take no for an answer from me. Like, I can't do this nonsense, go over there and do it. Why? Because you're ghetto and you're fabulous. So I will always remember you both. And that's your two names are the ones that come to my head anytime I think of that part of my life. So yeah.
Thank you. And I just want to say, Paul would say the ghetto bit. I never called you ghetto. You were fabulous. Okay,
No,
good.
You did.
Shanaz.
Yeah, thank you. I'm loving hearing all these responses. I'm going to upend this a little bit because I don't think anyone has recognized my potential or given me the mirror that feels valid. In fact, it's been the opposite. So in my early 20s, when I was trying to be guided onto a career path that would, know me for my talents and pay me the right amount, I was told there was nothing unique about me and I wouldn't get very far in life. And therefore, you know, I spent all my what this person was really trying to say is that you don't have a degree from Oxford, Cambridge, you know, one of the Ivy League or whatever. So at that time, an impressionable young woman, I was thinking, right, well, then I have to go study. I now have 3 degrees because I was trying to please everybody along the way. And still, I do not consider myself an academic. In fact, I can't think of anything worse than sitting there and being an academic, because those spaces that I had to sit in to get the freaking pieces of paper, I would not wish on my worst enemy, honestly. So I applaud anyone who I applaud anyone who takes that massive challenge on, like Charlene has spoken about. I think it's incredible going to do those things, but I didn't do them for the purpose of, I recognize I have that capability. I did it because people were telling me I didn't have what I needed to show up and contribute my talents. So I did it for all the wrong reasons. I also failed my A levels, by the way. So this is a story of 2 halves, right? So that's one thing I wanted to say, is it's because my potential wasn't recognized that I stopped trying to look for someone to validate or hold the mirror or encourage or whatever. It's like, do you know what? It's now me and my creator, or me and the universe, or me and myself. And the 2 pieces of advice that I remember getting, one from a maternal uncle who said to me, listen to everything everyone's got to say, and then you decide. So I was like, that, how is that advice? Just give me the answer. What am I supposed to do next? And he's like, you have to process it yourself. And the other person who told me to do one, basically hilarious. My parents were born in Tanzania. I decided that I should go and give back and work in Tanzania and so on. And she told me when I went there in my 20s, again, I did a lot in my 20s. She said, listen, you've been brought up in the UK. You understand the systems there. If you want to make a difference, go do it there. So can you imagine being told from home to go back home? That was hilarious. And that is what has made me stay rooted in this career that I've had for over 23 years, and saying, do you know what? I am a citizen of the UK. This is where I'm going to make a difference. So the person that recognized the potential in me was me.
I'm speechless. When we all watch this back, I think we're going to continue to find things. And I love the gems thing you said before as well, that you heard from somewhere. That is also very powerful. Shekinah, I've put the question back up because I want to ask you either to reflect on what you've heard, because maybe you don't have this, or maybe if you do already have an answer for this, how did it happen and how did it make you feel?
Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to agree with Ingrid on this point. I can't say just one. I feel like there's a few people in my life. Okay, and I hate to be the enemy of progress, but I'm gonna have to choose you as well, Shay, because I feel like even I haven't known you for long. Sorry guys, I had to. Even though I haven't known you for long, my time during Unmute, which was like this program that we did with mental health and just doing different stuff, Unmute and CYG as well, it's been a great experience, and I've loved, you always push us to do our best, all the children, not just me, because yeah. But yeah, you always push us, sorry, you always push us to do our best. You never push us too hard where we feel stressed or anything. You always see us for who we are, you see our potential, and yeah, I really appreciate that. So I will say Shay. Second of all, I will choose, there's certain teachers as well within school, because I feel like some people will say there's like a mixed how do you say this, like pros and cons of the whole education system as a whole, especially as a Black person. So I feel like some teachers can be a bit, there can be stereotypes and all of that stuff. But I feel like there are certain teachers, like Charlene as well, how you are, and you love youth and the young people. There are certain teachers within schools that are really for the students and really do see people's potential and push students to reach their goals. So I'll say teachers and Shay.
Thank you. And now I realise that when I'm having a bad day, I should just convene a council and ask them questions that are leading. Amazing. Okay. Final question, back over to you, Shekinah.
Okay. So how have the most powerful messages about your value, positive and negative, been delivered to you? So can you take this question?
The most powerful messages delivered to me, I would say it's through actions, not through like a verbal or written something of somebody saying, oh, well done you. It is somebody's confidence in my ability by showing me an AI picture and telling me to make it, or, you know, whatever, or somebody's lack of confidence. Oh, I didn't ask you because, you know, or them just bypassing me completely. So I think the way people act has delivered powerful messages to me, not necessarily about my value and my worth, but how they see my value and my worth, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Shah, over to you.
I'm going to say something really mushy, so get your sick buckets out. I'm going to say that mine has actually come from my husband. And I think, you know, so my mum, she has to love me and like me because she's my mum, right? And so she has to speak life into me. It's her role, right? You chose to have me, do your role. I think in terms, even when it comes to employers, you pay me, you want me to keep doing well at my job. So even to a certain extent, you're going to tell me what you think I need to hear to keep going. And I always kind of, when I look at my husband, I'm like, actually, you chose me. You looked at me, you saw my flaws, you saw the good, you saw the bad, you saw the ugly, you saw the fat, you saw the skinny. We met at the gym, so I really didn't have makeup on. You know, he was my spin instructor. We are a romantic film. He was my spin instructor, so you know, he saw me dying on the bike, or not so much because I didn't really work hard. I sat at the back and chatted with my girlfriends. But actually, there's been time and time when I've doubted myself. And I always say, like, he's on the spectrum. He's not actually, like, officially, like, diagnosed, but he's a man. He can't lie. He's very black and white. You know, if you say, does my ass look big in this, he will tell you, yeah, it does. You know, and there are many times when I doubt myself. And he's not mushy with his words. And he's very, very simple. And he'd be like, but you can do it. I know you can do it because you're my wife. And actually sometimes, like, I just need that reminding. I don't need him to, like, give me a big fluffy speech. I don't need, you know, and his belief in me never ever wavers. His message, you know, is always the same. You know, I could say to him, oh, I want to climb like Mount Everest. He's like, all right, how you gonna do this? What's the plan? Like, how are we gonna do it? He ain't coming with me, but he will make the plan with me. And that for me is just so powerful because actually, he chose me. Everyone else, I feel like they didn't necessarily choose me as such. That makes sense. Sorry for the mush.
I want to stay. I want to be in that mush, Charlene. It's exactly the same with me. I even had a soul reading done a few years ago, and for anyone who believes in these kinds of things, we've chosen each other again to hang out in this life and do this thing. So the thing about a marriage, it's not the Jerry Maguire "you complete me" thing. I'm complete. He's complete. We're agreeing to travel together. If anyone hasn't yet read Khalil Gibran, who talks about, there's a passage on marriage. That's a beautiful passage to reflect on. And this idea that only when I ask for the opinion does it come through, but when I am in self-doubt, then the mirror is really powerful from him, and he will remind me of some of the things that I've come back and been, you know, joyous about. So I feel like he's the kind of keeper of all of the good about me. And then when I've come along and said, you know what, I think I'm going off the rails, something's happening. Is it postpartum? Is it menopause? Like, what is the thing? And he's gone, yeah, actually, maybe you want to think about this, maybe you want to think about that. So a real gift of a kind of relationship where we can honestly reflect with one another. And then I will also say the most powerful messages that I get when I'm listening truly are from my girls. So I have daughters, and boy, do they teach me. I mean teach. I do not mean test. I mean teach, because the minute I took myself away from parent as leader and parent as creator of environment in which children can thrive, that's when the teaching really happened. And they have been my absolute, incredible lesson givers, and that openness to what it is that they share and what they say and how they consider the world to be, and all of the things are like the wisdom just oozes out from every pore. So I feel very blessed to have them be my teachers. And if I could do it all again, Ellen, I would be home educating also.
I know it might be jumping and cutting out for you, Shekinah, so I'm just going to say, as it's the last question, can we just get everyone to quickly answer it as well? So I think we've got you, Janine, and you, Elle, who haven't answered. Is that right? So,
This
Janine,
one,
okay, yeah, go for it, Elle. It seemed to cut out,
sorry,
but yeah, go for it.
I would listen to what everyone said. I agree. I would answer more along the lines the same as Ingrid. I think the most powerful messages about conveyed to me about my value has been through actions. Because people can say a lot of things. I'm here for you. I love you. I'll always be here for you. You can trust me. Let me borrow. And the list goes on and on and on. But actions speak louder than arguments. And that song was a banger in Dancehall Queen. I don't know if anyone remembers it, but the moral of it is the actions have always been way more powerful. And it's allowed me to, how do I say it? Develop some not so great self-beliefs, because even though I was hearing the words, my spirit's picking up on the energy, and then my spirit's seeing the actions. So I'm trying to basically just live in this cuckoo land with my blinkers on, focusing only on, like, I'm going to trust you because I'm being honest with you, so you're being honest with me. So it's a process of relearning all of that and learning to surround yourself with people that speak life, speak people that appreciate you and value you and see your true worth and understand you, and they're willing to take the time to get to know you and see and be empathetic and compassionate towards you, and then build up from there.
Thank you. I think for me, the ones that stand out the most to me are the ones where it's a random statement or observation about me that came out of nowhere, but it showed me that you were seeing me or seeing something in me that I wasn't aware of. So for me, I have always been a writer, always been since I was young. Words have been the thing that I love. But when I was probably around 23, someone in the church network said to me, you should become a journalist. And I had, like many of you in the room, I wasn't great academically. I love learning. I don't love education. And so for me, I was working from I was 18, 19. I was corporate. I was making money. I was doing stuff. Bought my house at 23, in fact. So when she said that to me, I don't know why, but I heard it. Many people had said, oh, you're great at writing before. But she said it. There was nothing before it and nothing after. She just said, this is what you need to do. And her name's Kathy Boldo. And I always credit her with the trajectory my life took after that, not because it wouldn't have potentially gone that way, but because I did something about it. And so I went and I got my degree. And in fact, I didn't learn as much as I would have liked to learn because I was already a mature student. I was in the world of work and they wanted people who were going to pay money, and I wanted to learn. But some of those relationships, experiences, understandings came from me finally listening to someone who saw me outside of the circle, who saw me and just said what they saw into the world. Janine, do you have an answer to this one?
Yeah, I had to really think about this one because I'm hearing so many positive kind of answers, and I really want to answer this on a positive term, but if I'm honest and I be my authentic self, like some of the experiences that I've faced personally and professionally, have been quite difficult in terms of, powerful messages and values and, stuff about yourself and how you view yourself. But what I will share with you very quickly is that I did some international work in St. Lucia. And I don't know if anyone's ever done any international work in the Caribbean, but, we think England's cutthroat. They're cutthroat in the Caribbean. They don't care. They say it how it is. They see what they say. They repeat it, whether you can take it, whether you can't take it, good luck. And that is where I really had to build character. I thought I had character here, going to school in Hackney. That weren't character. That weren't character. Character is when someone is reading you down. So you can have a PhD. They don't care. They're reading you for who you are or who they think you are. And I had to learn to build character. Bearing in mind, my parents are Caribbean. I'm a proud Caribbean person in London. Now I got challenged and tested. What came out of that in terms of my values, it doesn't matter what I do or what I say, as long as my clientele that I'm working with is happy, that's the impact I want. So the impact for me is that my values and anything kind of work related comes from my clientele. What is the impact that I'm having on my clientele, and what are they receiving from me? And working in the company, you kind of see what real social deprivation is. So when young people are telling you, thank you for this session, thank you for these pair of trainers, thank you for a tablet. Yeah, that I think words of positivity from young people has really shaped me, even in a really dark place. So yeah, that's mine, if it makes sense what I'm saying. But yeah.
You don't understand how pertinent it is to, pertinent isn't the right word, but how ideal it is for where I wanted to take this at the end. So the whole reason to ask that type of question is because we're so aware in the giving and in the gaining, we're so aware of the way people make us feel. And all of us in this room and beyond are, I'm sure, very intentional about the way we choose to make other people feel. And so in that giving of life, in that giving of understanding, in that giving of just a phrase, you should become a journalist, there is way more that happens for someone when we really see them. And in return, we gain validation that we were right about a person, even if they don't take up that thing, even if I didn't become a journalist, what Kathy thinks she knew about me was right. I was good with words and I probably should have gone down that path, even if I didn't do it. What those young people see in you, Janine, is very much a reflection of how you make them feel, rather than what they are gaining outside of that. What they're gaining outside of that is, in addition, is a bonus. But I wanted to wrap this up with the idea that giving and gaining is such when I saw the theme for this year, I was really, really confused. I was like, I don't like it. Why? What do we give to gain? Whatever. And I'm sure there was a lot of thinking that went into it and everything. But fundamentally, when you come from one of the lowest respected groups in the world, when you are a Black woman, you have the thing that really propels us forward most is the way we feel and the way we make other people feel. And so I wanted to just say that I'm really grateful for all of you taking the time to share that with other people. I'm sure that people will get so much from the conversation that we've had today. And just to keep being as brilliant as you are. Yeah, thank you. I can't say it enough. I can't. Shanaz, yeah, can you please just share the last thing that you wanted to share in the chat I see there? So if you don't mind, and then we will say goodbye. Everyone can just say last sentence if you want, and we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, I recently met Iffy Thomas, and she's a TEDx speaker multiple times, I think. Her journey is incredible. She talks about lots of things, and that includes her own kind of diagnosis and who her parenting as well. And then she's written this short little pamphlet, which is called The 3 Mirrors of Radical Honesty. So I think maybe the circle will do a book club at some point, whether we're audio books or reading books or just reading a chapter of something, I don't know, but it would be really lovely to maybe invite her in sometime to speak with us. And also, yeah, if any of us have published things, which I know some of us have in this room, yeah, that's what I wanted to share. But I think that the piece about the mirrors is super important here. And Shay, what you said just now about how we make people feel. So how we feel is the thing that then emanates. And if we work on the feelings within, that's what comes out for me. And I feel like everyone here was open to feeling all the feels. So I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Janine, a couple last sentences from you. What do you want the people to know?
Thank you for having this space. I greatly appreciate it. I don't know what I want people to know or say. Thank you for everybody sharing like your personal thoughts as well. And for us holding that in this space as well. These spaces are so important. I can't explain how important they are. Because I feel like Black British women don't have a lot of spaces, and our spaces are so limited, and they're very cliche if they are available. And sometimes you can't be your authentic self. You have to show up as someone else. And sometimes Janine doesn't want to show up apart from anybody else apart from Janine. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Shah, last few words.
Sorry, my handbag wanted to come and say hello, Auntie Shay. Do you know what? Actually, this conversation has been great, but I also felt quite sad listening to Janine, and I'm so terrible with names. Shanaz, when you were saying that that you didn't have people that spoke life into you, or who weren't, those voices of positivity, and I think it's just made me more as a teacher. Made me more. Yeah, well, good English, Charlene. I don't teach English, by the way. It has made me think more about me as a teacher in terms of, am I always speaking life into my young people? I would hate that one of my students in like 10 years' time was in a forum like this, and actually that they felt like along their journey that they've met me and I've taught them, and they weren't able to say that I spoke life into them, and that they felt, that someone believed in them. Hello, young lady. This is not for you. So I think it's made me kind of think more about my classroom, what I say in my classroom, and it's made me feel sad that actually your teachers weren't that for you. And I hope that I can be that for other young people, girls and boys, black, brown, white, any other, because actually they all matter. We all matter. So yeah.
Thank you. Hi, Lily. My one fell asleep standing up when I put my camera off. I had to run and get her. Yeah. So
say goodbye and then go. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye. Shekinah, do you have anything you want to share at the end? Like, what were your reflections, or what do you want to remind people to, think about for themselves?
I think just always believing in yourself. I think that's something that's really important. Knowing who you are and just always doing your best. Your best is enough. You can't do what anyone else says. All you have is what, your all. Put your all in. So I think that's what I will say. And also adding on to Janine's point, I agree with what she was saying about this space to really understand and hear everyone's everyone's views and perspectives. So that's really encouraging and empowering to hear. So yeah.
Thanks so much, Elle, and then finally Ingrid.
Okay, so I agree with what you said, Shanaz, Janine, Charlene, Shekinah. There's little bits from everybody. Guess we're all on the same page, and it's a privilege and honor to be part of this network, because it encapsulates a lot of things that are very dear to my heart. And I think it was you just said, Charlene, like hearing that people didn't have people that spoke life into them, and through the healing journey, I'm realizing that is more common for most people than is acknowledged. To the point of when I hear that someone had someone supported in their life, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. And I want to hear about it. I want to know how it felt. How did they pour into you? So I want to be what I didn't have for the next generation, because that's a part of why I do homeschooling, because when I feel it pour into you, then you're supposed to go on and teach sensible things in the future. That's my job. That's my role. So any chance I can be involved in, like I said, sharing, I'm gonna tell you, you might not want to hear it. That's your business, but you might reflect on it later on, and there may be something in there that helps you. But either way, I'm just being honest with you, because I don't know everything that you're going through. Sometimes you don't even know what you're going through. You just know that you're feeling something. And when someone verbalizes it because they don't feel any way to be vulnerable and open, it kind of gives you that safe space and that place where you can delve and discover your peace and learn to do the things that are going to help you maintain a state of homeostasis in your body, mind, body, and soul. It's very, very important. And I'm all about that, like I said. And I'm happy to be here. Bless all of you. That's me. Over to you, Ings.
I would like to say thanks for this space. I won't go into what I was thinking, because I was scribbling notes. I've got like a whole page. I do too much, you know me. There's a couple of things that I want to reflect on. It's interesting to hear Charlene and Lennon's perspective on what Shanaz and Janine were saying about not having anyone, because when I heard what they said, I thought, wow, despite not having anyone, you have. Despite not having anyone, you founded your own company. Despite not having that voice, you've done 3 degrees. Like, I thought, wow. So it's interesting to hear other people's perspectives. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, Janine, on that last question, you came in and you said, oh, everybody's had like something positive to say. I've got another perspective. I just want to say that all sides of your experience are valid. Positive, negative, they shape who you are. You can draw from them. You shouldn't hide from them. Keep them, reflect on them, and share them. So yeah, all sides of your experience are valid. And yeah, thanks for this space, Shay. That's it.
Thank you. Elle?
Just this much. Again, this space also allows other people to realize that it's okay to speak up, innit? It's okay to have a rubbish day and feel like you're living an oxymoron, because your day feels like a storm over here, but you still know that you're blessed over here. You still got a little bit of peace. So yeah, it's very important that we speak up, so others know it's okay to speak up. Yeah. Now I'm finished for now.
Thank you. It's so interesting because I set aside 2 hours for this, expecting it to be a 20-minute conversation. And I set aside 2 hours because just tech things, just in case. And I keep doing things like that, and we keep filling the time because there's so much to say. There's so many things to reflect on and to connect on. So I hope to continue to do that with you. I hope that when you do these things in your spaces, and Shanaz, you already do it, and I come every year to the Impact Showcase, when you're doing these things, invite us. We want to be there. We want to support. If we can't support, I tend to sponsor tickets, whatever it is. And I don't have much, but I share what I have. So whatever it is, if you want us to come and do things in your school, and when I say us, I'm speaking on behalf of every single one of you in the room. You have a voice now. We're starting to connect. We're starting to understand. We're starting to understand that the give and the gain work parallel. And sometimes we're going to give to the people in the room. And so, sorry, I keep forgetting that my camera's here and I'm looking at you there. But yeah, we give and we gain. It may not happen at the same time, and that's okay. But at some point and in some way and some shape and form, because of the connection, because of the community, we can thrive. So thank you, everyone, so much.